ticking clock.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Hanging Out with Chops, podcast dedicated to the exciting, treacherous, and funny world of recording. My name is Chops, recording engineer by trade. I'm so glad you're here to check out another episode. Like always, a big shout out to all you returning listeners. Thanks for coming back, and a big hello to all you first timers. Hey guys, thanks for joining us. This is a great community of engineers and aspiring engineers, and sometimes people that just like to talk about music, or sometimes people that just want to fall asleep to my voice. Guys, today we got an exciting episode. We're going to be talking about beginning engineers and some tips and tricks and possibly some good advice. So we're going to hit it up with top 20 tips for young, aspiring, for any recording engineer. Whether you're starting, you're an expert, or hopefully getting your feet wet. These are things that I've done wrong in the past. I've learned from my mistakes. And guys, learn from my mistakes. It's really dumb if you don't learn from your own mistakes. It's even worse if you don't learn from other people's mistakes so that you don't have to do them. All right, guys, here we go. Top 20 tips. You're hanging out with Chops. Here we go.
We're hanging out with Chops. Time just never stops. Answers fade like drops on a broken ticking clock.
All right, guys. Number 1. Recording levels are just way too hot. I'm sure a lot of you have experienced this one. It doesn't take an Einstein to figure this one out. When your signal is too hot, it leads to just distortion. A sound that's unusable. It was a little more forgiving when you were recording with tape, but in the digital world, man, distortion is non-forgiving now. I mean, I'm not talking about it's unforgiving as in it's bad practice. It's unforgiving as in the machine, the DAWs doesn't allow you anymore. I mean, once you start to clip, man, it's really obvious and it's kind of unrepairable. So there's a fine balance, and I try to think of it this way. I try to think of it as a vessel, a cup, or let's just think of a glass of water. The glass is going to hold two things. It's going to hold water and nothing. Much like a track is going to hold sound and white noise. Now, you want to fill the glass with as much water as possible, but you don't want to have so much water that it spills over the top, right? Common sense. Makes sense to me, makes sense to you. Plus, you don't want to have a cup that's the other way. And that'll bring us to number 2. Recording levels are just too low. So when the signal is too hot, your signal just overflows. You have filled that cup with water, and it has spilled over, and you've made a mess. When your signal is too low, now your cup has very little water. It's got a couple of drops of water at the bottom of the glass, and the rest is filled with air. So what happens in your track? Your track has very little sound, very little tone, a lot of white noise. The odds are your preamp is probably all the way up, and either you're too far away, or you're just allowing too much white noise in. So there you go, guys. Number 1 and 2, your signal is just way too loud, or your signal is way too soft. I'd say you can put that under common sense. Number 3, gain staging. Incorrect. Gain staging. Setting levels between devices, between your mic, your preamp, your interface, your DAW. That leads to noise and clipping at all different points in your signal chain. So you want to be real specific. When you go into device 1, whether it's a microphone or a preamp or a guitar, going into device 2, which could be from guitar to your pedal, from pedal to amp. It could be microphone to compressor to preamp to whatever it is. You want to make sure that just keep it simple. Keep it simple in the fact that you just don't want to clip anywhere down the line. If at your first device you're clipping, it's over, guys. You can't save the track. You want to make sure you give yourself a little headroom before you get into your next device. make sure that you're not clipping on the first one, clipping on the second one. You don't want to clip anywhere along the lines of the signal chain. You want to make sure, and if you're not sure, play it safe. If this is that glass of water we've been talking about, and you gotta fill up 4 glasses. Think of it this way: you're gonna fill up a pitcher at the very end, and you have 4 glasses to fill it with. Be responsible. Fill it up a little bit halfway. Every glass a little bit halfway, but you don't want to reach the top on any glass. That way you give yourself a little headroom. Number 4, neglecting latency. Oh man, yeah, this one sucks. Monitoring with too much delay during recording, which throw the performance off. Yeah, guys, this is one where, if this happens, this is your bad. Granted, you can work out the bugs at the DAW stage. Get your latency down, get an extremely fast CPU, really fast RAM. You're working on SSD drives. But at some point, guys, get away from the console and get behind the kit. Get behind the bass. Go sing on the mic. Check the accuracy of your latency. I do that all the time. And I'm constantly telling the guys, hey guys, if you hear some latency, tell me quickly, right away. Don't let it get out of hand. Because I'm on this side, hey, I'm loading this truck up with all the plugins I love. And these plugins, hey, they take horsepower. They take a lot of CPU, and before you know it, some latency could get introduced. So I try to keep it open and honest with the performance. I'm like, hey, if at any time you start to feel some latency, please let me know. But at the beginning of sessions, I will jump behind the kit and I'll play a little bit. Or I'll grab a guitar and kind of jam out a little bit with the guys and see where the latency's at. I want to make sure that it's tip-top and that it's not throwing anybody off. It's so important. Man, I've had so many sessions where three or four songs in, guys will tell me, hey man, it seems like it's slow or it's not responding. And my bad, on my master, I have all kinds of limiters and where I'm trying to hear it to what it's going to sound like when it's finished, because I'm trying to get a ballpark of what I'm shooting for. But once we start recording, sometimes I turn those off to make sure no latency is introduced. But if I forget to leave it on and nobody tells me, I'm only hearing it from my side, and my side actually sounds pretty great. But if you're performing and you're starting to get some lag, keep the lines of communication open between you and the artist. Make sure that there is no latency, because man, that'll kill it. And plus, it'll mess with the guy's ego. They're like, man, why can't I usually play right in time? Why am I dragging so much? And it could be just, latency. Check your latency, check your delay compensation. Make sure that, that's up and running and it's at your liking. Number 5, wrong microphone choice. Yeah, that's a big one. Basically, you're using a mic that's unsuited for the source. You're using a mic that's too sensitive for a very loud instrument, and it's leading to just poor frequency response and distortion. Oh yeah. So I'd say let's just cover the basics. Dynamic mic and a condenser mic. And kind of like we talked about in one of the past podcasts, think of it as a manual mic and an electric mic. Obviously, the dynamic mic is more of the manual mic, just like old school cars where there was no power steering and there was no power windows, and the muscle from your arms was what made the wheels turn, and your muscles was what made the windows go up and down. It's a manual mic. That's your dynamic mic. Then you have electric mics, your condensers, a little more sensitive. So what's a good example? Dynamic mic handles a lot of high SPL, a lot of high sound pressure level. So put in a good old 57 or an an MD421. These microphones handle quite a bit. Hey, these work great on a trumpet. They work great on a snare. They work great on a guitar cab. Why? Because they can handle a lot of sound pressure. Put a condenser on a snare, especially if it's really close, man, you're going to get all kinds of distortion. Now, of course, like anything else, there's exceptions to the rule. Now, I've seen a lot of studios where they use 414s on toms. That's a condenser on an instrument that has a lot of sound pressure level. But on those 414s, you have quite a bit of pads on them. So you can pad them -5, -10, -20. Hey, you pad those down to -20, now they're workable. on something that has a lot of sound pressure level. So that's one thing I do see, guys, using the wrong mic. And let's not forget about ribbon mics. Ribbon mics are a nice luxury to have. Now, you do want to use those on your more sensitive instruments. Acoustic guitars, violins, harps, delicate sounding instruments that don't have a lot of high sound pressure level. Ribbon mics are wonderful. And please, for God's sakes, don't ever forget it. And if there's one thing you take from this podcast, is remember this: never, ever, 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 under any circumstance, turn on your phantom power on a ribbon mic. You will fry that ribbon mic. That element is so thin and so stretched out that as soon as you send any voltage down the line, it will completely fry your ribbon mic. And there's nothing that makes you feel stupider than frying a ribbon mic, believe me. I've been there. It's happened. You don't think that it would, but sometimes you work kind of fast and you just forget that phantom power was engaged. And there you go. Fried a nice $1,000 mic. Which leads us to number 6. The wrong cable or the wrong connection. Oh man, that leads to all kinds of noise, hums, or possibly no signal at all. So, there's TS cables or TRS cables. And there's obviously XLRs, and they go on and on. I mean, there's a lot more, but these are the main ones we use every day. TS cables, that's going to be your regular mono cable, your instrument cable. That's what you're going to use on your bass. That's what you're going to use on guitars. Your TRS cables, your tip ring sleeve cables, going to be more of your stereo ones. Those are the ones you're going to run to headphone amps. You'll run those sometimes out of certain keyboards. XLRs, well, you can't really get XLRs wrong, honestly. Well, I say that, but the other day I was actually looking through my cable bin, and I don't know why this wound up in there, but I actually had a microphone cable that was female on one end and female on the other end. And I was like, what in the world? I don't know why I would have a double female XLR cable. I guess I must have used it somewhere to gender flip my cable. Maybe I was using it as a return. I don't know. But I was like, how did this get in there? And I wound up throwing it away because I don't think I needed it. It's only going to lead to more confusion. Number 7, forgetting to tune your instruments. Now, obviously, you're probably thinking, come on, man. I know I should tune my instrument. I'm not really talking about tuning your instrument at the get-go, when you're about to start. I'm talking retuning as you're going. Guitars, you do one song, or, even if you spend some time already on the same song, retune, take a little break. Hey, dude, recheck your strings. Or sometimes also, this gets a little deeper, but look at hand positioning. I've seen guys that, they're barring a G. And I'm like, hey, dude, that G's out of tune. Okay, hold on. And then they tune their guitar open, E, A, D, G, B, E. They check them all again. They're all the notes perfectly in tune. And they hit the G chord barred, and then it's out of tune. I'm like, why is it out of tune? I just heard you tune that up. But then I look over and I see his hand positioning, and he's just strangling that neck. I'm like, why in the world are you pulling down on the strings so hard? That's what I mean by intonation. Making sure that you're playing in key. Same thing with bass. Do song 1, moving on song 2, everybody tune up again. Make sure that you haven't gone out of tune. Now it's a little more forgiving on like keyboards, instruments that don't really go out of tune, so you don't really have to check those. Now drums, you may have to check from time to time, especially if you're trying to do some kind of consistency throughout the album. I understand sometimes we switch off on snares, but if we're using that same snare and he's just banging the crap out of it, you may want to reference back to song 1, song 2, especially if you're now on song 6, song 7. Be like, hey dude, your sound is a little different. It seems like it's loosened up a little bit. I just want to let you know and keep you aware of that. If you're fine with that, we can move forward. But if not, let's go ahead and retune it and get it to sound a little closer to where we started. Just want to bring that to your attention. Number 8 would be ignoring room acoustics. You know what I'm talking about. If the room is real lively, you might be recording a lot of unwanted reverb that you may have trouble getting rid of later. Or same thing if your room is completely dead. If it's too dead, you may want to position the sound you're trying to capture in a different spot. Recording in an untreated room, it captures unwanted reflections. Like I said, just bad natural reverb. So be careful with that. Number 9, poor microphone placement. Placing the mic, in an unflattering spot that captures the wrong tone or an imbalanced tone. Guitar cabs. I've gone as far as once I do get the sound I want, I actually tape off the area on the cab where I want that mic to be put from now on till we finish the recording. And it could be sometimes dead on the cone. It can be a little off the cone. It could be on the edge. It could be a foot away. It could be 2 feet away. It all depends on what we're trying to achieve. But microphone placement can really, really bring out the best sound you're trying to capture, or it can just completely ruin it. It reminds me of some of my early recordings where I was recording a four speaker cab, and it was just so loud, and I would mic the speaker, and then I'd put like a speaker microphone further back, good 3 or 4 feet. I was realizing the microphone that was further back was getting me a pretty good sound, but the microphone that was supposed to be getting me my attack just sounded dead. It sounded kind of muffled. I couldn't understand what it was. And I thought maybe my mic was bad or my cable was bad. But you know what? I had to get on my hands and knees and put my ear all the way down to those speakers, and I had told that guy, hey dude, crank your volume down and just play again. Let me hear what these speakers are doing. Ain't it crazy? The speaker I chose out of his 4-speaker cab was a 1 speaker that was blown and actually wasn't even working. Live and learn, guys. So now I actually do that on a regular basis. I'll have the guy, play it at a lower volume, make sure he doesn't blow my ear out. But I'll put my ear close to the cab and I'll make sure that the speaker I'm miking is actually working. And then it has a very desirable sound. Microphone placement with brass instruments is also really important. You don't want to put it a couple of inches from the bell. You want to let that sound develop. You want to give it a little bit of distance so that brass sound shapes up a little bit, So trumpet guys, I don't slam the microphone inside the bell. I put some distance on there, let the natural sound shape some. Then I capture it. And that's been on all kinds of brass, whether it's trumpet or trombone or flugelhorn or heck, even tuba. Although tuba was a little hard because I actually had to put one of my biggest boom mics to reach all the way up there. And the guy preferred to play standing up, which was cool with me. But I had to be like, hey, dude, make sure that you look up every now and then and make sure that the distance from the bell to the mic remains about the same. Bam, but that guy likes to dance, which is cool with me. Hey, whatever makes you feel the vibe, go for it. But I was like, hey, dude, try to dance from your waist down. You're swaying too much up there. I'm getting too much variance in your tone. But yeah, poor microphone placement. Number 10, background noise. Oh yeah, we've seen this everywhere. The dreaded air conditioning. Yeah, I've been there. I remember being very young. Man, probably right out of high school. I just, having to turn off all the window units to record. And knowing that I had about 5 to 10 minutes before it got so hot that it was going to be unbearable. But yeah, eliminating AC noise, eliminating refrigerator hums, cars blasting by, trains, any unwanted background noise. You want to get rid of all that. You want to make sure that none of it is present in your recording. We've talked about number 11 before. Trying to fix it in the mix. Come on, guys. Relying on post-processing to correct fundamental source or performance problems instead of getting it right the first time. Yeah, fixing it in the mix. Avoid that. I like to call it the trying to sprinkle your magic at the very end. Hey guys, sometimes there's not enough magic in that can to fix a session. Try to get it right as you're going. Don't be embarrassed. If you didn't capture it right and you didn't get the sound you wanted, stop. Tell them, hey guys, I'm not liking how this sounds. It's not your performance. You're giving me the right performance. I'm just not capturing it the way I like. It's too dead. It's too lively. It's too distorted. Whatever it is, figure it out, fix it, and let's move on. Number 12, not recording enough multiple takes. Oh yeah. Trying to get that one magic one taker. Guys, it's great to get it, and sometimes you can hear it on the first take and you're like, man, it's not going to get better than this. But still, take a couple of more takes of it. You never know. You could catch lightning in a bottle, or sometimes other basic stuff that you could just not really hear on the first take. Maybe on the second tape he happened to do just as well, or she happened to do just as well. But maybe on the second or third take, the pronunciation was better. Maybe there was a little more attitude. And plus, I still like to Frankenstein one take from several takes. You know, there might be something on the second chorus of take 3 that wasn't there on take 1. And it's nice to be able to grab that and to grab the best from different takes and make one completely awesome take. Number 13, lack of preparation. Starting a session without a clear plan, a tempo, some kind of guide. Is this going to lead to a waste of time? Again, we've talked about this before, and I mentioned it. I like to get together with a band first. Hey, pre-production is so important. Really, I consider all these issues could be worked out during pre-production. What issues are we talking about? Hey, the wrong key, the wrong tempo, the wrong key, the wrong tempo, the wrong order of songs to record. I mean, you don't want to do the song, the hardest song, the one that's just gonna blow out the singer's vocals first. No, let's get the easy ones out of the way first. Let's get some mileage under our belt first, and then we'll hit those hard ones. I like to do a nice blueprint before we actually start to record. Now, everyone has their technique. You know, you can build a scratch track using MIDI. You can build a scratch track, hey, off your phone, you know, any kind of little demo, but some kind of direction. Let's not get into the booth and just hope magic happens. Number 14, guys, overcompression during tracking. I don't really like to put compressors on my front end. I know what you're all thinking. You're crazy. Applying too much compression while recording permanently squashes the dynamic range and making future adjustments impossible. See what I'm saying? Now there's a time for it and a time not for it. You know, this is a live setting, and this is the one time I'm going to be able to capture it. Then I may want to compress it on the way coming in, because if that guy's really peaking, I'd rather get a squashed signal than a completely distorted signal that I can no longer work with. Number 15, inconsistent monitoring. Mixing and recording without consistent monitoring levels and proper speaker placement. Yeah, I'd say this goes under bad monitors or inaccurate monitors. Hey, we all learn. We all make our mistakes. Remember mixing on a set of Bose. Man, everything sounded great. Till I took it to the car and I was like, where's my bass? Bass is gone. Believe it or not, the flattest sounding speakers you can get are going to be the best speakers. I have a set of NS10s here on my desk. These speakers sound horrendous. They're like cardboard speakers. But you know what? You make your mix sound good on those, they'll sound good anywhere. The Genelecs here might be a little more forgiving, but those NS10s are not. They do sound like crap. But man, once you get your mix dialed in on them, it's going to be your best friend. And not just speakers, not just bad monitoring, but bad monitoring positions. I mean, you could have your speakers just too close to the wall, and your sub and your bass might be enveloping a little bit, giving you a little more bass than is actually not present. Or your speakers could be too low or too high. And I'm not talking about volume-wise. I'm talking about actual positioning, like they're overshooting your ears. They're just placed too high, or they're placed too low. I mean, they're just undershooting you. You want to make sure that your speakers are in a good spot, and if you can, multiple speakers. I mean, not all at once, but if you can have a set of A, B, or ABC. I mean, really, that's the best way to go. That's what we have here. We have, the NS10s, which are your baby small, almost prison style speaker. And then a nice set of Genelecs, the 8-inch with a horn. And then we have the gigantic Genelecs, where each one has dual 15s with a horn. So you can hear how your bass, mids, and highs translate on 3 different size speakers. And I'm constantly checking, jumping back and forth. Number 16, over EQing. Oh, yeah. Using excessive EQ to fix your recording or drastically alter the tone. Yeah, when you're over EQing, guys, if you have to EQ it that much, you're doing something wrong. Something's wrong. If it's too thick or if it's too thin, maybe it's your mic positioning. Maybe it's the way that person is playing. But you shouldn't have to EQ that much. Your EQing should be slight, sculpting of the sound. It's not Bondo. And then plus when it comes to EQing, I mean, common sense, guys. I'm sure you've heard a lot of engineers tell you this before. Rolling off frequencies that you don't need. No singer sings down here. I mean, come on. Nobody's singing way down there, Nobody's singing in the 80 hertz and, 120, way down there. So roll those frequencies off. You're probably just recording a lot of stuff that's only going to muddy your mix. Or same things on the high end, whether it's brass or saxophones or flutes or electric guitars. I mean, nobody's up there at 18K, 20K. I mean, roll that stuff down. You're probably recording stuff that just makes dogs freak out. Keep what you really need, and the rest, don't even sacrifice it. Just roll that off. 17. Mixing at extremely high volumes. It's fun. I mean, honestly, it is kind of fun to have your speakers cranked up and kind of be, rocking with it, and you're feeling it, and that kick is hitting hard, and it might impress your clients, and it has that good vibe to it. But what's really happening is you're wearing your ears, and the ear fatigue will start to set in. And before you know it, you're kind of pushing levels and you're not hearing too much of a difference. Why? Because your ears are really worn out. Granted, when the band's here, I may have to have it a little louder. But once we're serious and we're down to mixing, I mix at a very moderate level. I want to make sure that I'm not blowing my ears out. And I take breaks. You got to take breaks. Especially if it's a long session, I refuse to mix after that. I'll tell the guys, hey, we finish up, and they're like, all right, man, now we start mixing. I'm like, no. Now we go home and we rest. And we either come back tomorrow or the day after, but there's no way we can start mixing this right now. Our ears are shot. There's no way we're going to let too many mistakes go by. Ear fatigue, so important. 18, not using reference tracks. I like to call this mirroring, or, not that it's my term. It's a term I've heard a lot before. Sometimes you are grooving along and your recording is sounding really good, and then you put a reference track on. And what I mean by a reference track is something in the same style of what you're doing. If you're doing a metal song or a rock song or a pop song or a jazz thing or a bluegrass thing, you want to bring up something in that genre on another track as a reference. Sometimes you think your mix sounds great, and then you're like, wait a minute, they have a lot of brightness that mine just does not have. I'm lacking the brightness. So you can compensate. Or the other way around, you can be like, you thought your mix sounded great, but once you hear it opposed to something else, you might be like, man, my mix sounds very shrilly. It has too much highs, or it's got too much lows, or not enough lows. Sometimes on some of this lo-fi or hip hop stuff, I think my bass sounds pretty good, but then I listen to a reference track and I'm like, wow, they're really over exaggerating that bass. Let me crank my bass up a little bit more. Or I'll put a frequency analyzer and I'll be like, okay, how hot are they hitting and where are they rolling off? And it'll give me a better reference point. But it's like a track runner that says, hey, I run fast. Yeah, man, I'm fast and I can run fast. Yeah, but it's not till you get a stopwatch that you understand how fast you're actually running. Same thing with mixes. You want to get some kind of reference, just like a stopwatch, so you can reference where you're at in your mix. Plus, it keeps you in your lane. Number 19, you solo too much. Yeah, I'm guilty of this one too. Sometimes you just want to hear what your bass is doing, so you start to solo it. And you start to kind of EQ it and this and that. And then you solo something else. Now you got two instruments soloed and you're trying to blend those two together. And then you add a third one. Now you have three things soloed. Don't do that, guys. If you're going to EQ in the mix. No one's ever going to hear anything soloed. When it's presentation time and it's turned in, none of that's going to be soloed. So if you're going to EQ, you can check your soloing just to, hey, I check it regularly a lot and I'll be like, hey, what was that noise? Or what was that artifact that I did not like? And I might solo a track, but I unsolo it right away and I jump back in the mix. I won't stay there because EQing that solo instrument is only going to hurt you. The main thing is you lose perspective of how it interacts during the full mix, and that's only going to hurt you. Trying to isolate it to get the perfect sound, no, guys. Unless it's something extreme, if it's just a guitar and a vocal, well then there's not much you can do, and really you're not soloing. It's only guitar and vocal. So sometimes, you do want to focus on just one instrument, but merely because it's just one instrument, it's nothing else. And the last one, guys, we made it. Number 20. And this kind of goes back to one of the previous ones about being unprepared. Lack of organization. Just not labeling your tracks scattered all over the place. You add new tracks and you're not grouping them, or at least position them in the right place in your mix. And going left to right, you just see all kinds of whatchamacallits and disorganized. You might see kick, snare, top of snare, bottom of snare, hi-hat, and all of a sudden there's your bass track in there. And then you see toms and, left crash, right crash, and all of a sudden left acoustic guitar. And it just doesn't make sense. And I know sometimes we work really fast, but stay organized. If anything, that's probably the best thing I want to say is staying organized with your tracks. Labeling. Label the top of your, all those rulers on top. They're there for a reason. Intro. Label it. Verse 1, label it. Verse 2, label it. Bridge, label it. Chorus. Kick out. Hey, if it's a section you don't even know what to label it, put a question mark on it. And if that section comes up again, put question mark 2. That way, at least you can say, oh yeah, that's that weird part that I have no idea what it was, but I want to get back to it, and I labeled it a question mark so I know where to go. If you know the key, label the key. Obviously, the BPM has to be posted. Put the BPM up there. Hell, if you got time and you got a great ear, and you can actually follow the song, and you can do the chord changes on the top ruler as the song is being built, good for you. Do it. Sometimes on ballads, I'll do that, especially when I'm watching a guitar player, and it's a pretty simple song. I'll be, hey, there it is. Might as well just label it now, and I'll be watching, be like, okay, G, E minor, C, C minor, D, back to G, C, D. Okay, now we're at the chorus, C, and I'll label the chords on top, which makes it easier too, because I'll be able to tell the guy, hey guy, let's go to the bridge. I'm gonna punch you in right at the C. Okay, it helps you and it helps him. Well, guys, it's been fun. Hey man, if you've enjoyed this podcast and you want to help me keep the ball rolling, please consider becoming a supporter of the show. On the front page of this podcast, there's a support the show link. Hey, $3 a month, $5 a month, or one-time donations of $1,000 billion, if you're so inclined. But hey, guys, help me keep the ball rolling. Any money donated goes straight to the podcast. Guys, thank you for hanging out with me. If you got any questions, hey, if you want to shoot me some suggestions, I'm all ears. Hit me up, guys. Thanks for hanging out. I'll catch you on the next one.
We're hanging out with chops. Time just never stops. Answers fade like drops on a broken ticking clock.